Hello everyone, my name is John Zinzer and I'm going to be giving you a persuasive speech on why lowering the drinking age from 21 to 18 would be beneficial. First thing, I'm going to introduce you to my audience. To my left side here I have my mother Virginia and father Brian, who are visiting from out of town. Say hello.
Hi.
And on my right side here I have my neighbors and co-workers Nick and Greg. So here we go. Many responsible adults enjoy alcoholic beverages from time to time, but could lowering the minimum drinking age from 21 to 18 be beneficial to the overall health and safety of our citizens? While there's no denying that there need to be restrictions on alcohol's availability, the number of underage drinkers engaging in binge drinking could be drastically reduced if they're able to responsibly purchase it in the first place. Young adults aged 18 to 20 don't drink as often as those over 21, but when they do, it is often done so in excess, with sometimes fatal consequences. This can easily be prevented by lowering the drinking age, and this will be beneficial to all, so we all need to agree that there needs to be a change. Throughout this speech, I'm going to explain why the current trend shows a need for the change in this law, give examples how other countries who have adapted this law have far fewer alcohol-related mishaps, and show how a previously used system in the United States could work once again in today's society. According to a recent study by the American Journal of Public Health, alcohol is a factor in approximately 75,000 deaths annually in the United States alone. Many of these deaths involve underage drinking, and this staggering number could potentially be reduced if those aged 18 to 20 weren't binge drinking and putting themselves at risk for things like alcohol poisoning or getting behind the wheel of a car. An 18-year-old is treated like an adult in every aspect of life except the legal drinking age. And this current trend of equal responsibilities without equal rights needs to be revised. Prior to the National Minimum Drinking Age Act of 1984, individual states had the ability to set their own regulations on this issue, which interestingly caused some neighboring states to have different laws. For example, in 1970s, Wisconsin had a minimum drinking age of 18, while neighboring Illinois had a minimum drinking age of 19. Though some might argue that starting drinking at an earlier age could lead to alcohol-related illnesses later in life, it is clear that on average, adults that grew up in this pre-1984 era don't have an overly high occurrence of this when compared to those of other generations. Going back to a state-by-state system would allow each state to set its limits, but not limit what others could do. Those states with more conservative governments can keep the current 21-year-old law, while others could lower it to as low as 18 if they see fit. As far as the minimum drinking age in other countries around the world, the United States is among the highest, along with places like Pakistan and Sri Lanka. The majority of the developed world has a minimum age of either 16 or 18 years old, and they usually have far fewer tragedies resulting from alcohol use. A revision of the National Minimum Drinking Age Act could take what other countries are doing and craft a plan that suits our needs. For example, college towns would likely have a minimum age of 18, lowering the current overindulgences that are occurring while stimulating the local economy with more money coming into bars, restaurants, convenience stores, and public transportation services. More alcohol education classes would be needed in areas that have this law, but treating every adult like an adult is something that needs to be done. The minimum drinking age isn't likely to change anytime soon, but no one can predict the future, and there's no telling what our ever-changing society will see as a plausible idea a few years down the road. If you agree with me on this topic, there is something you can do. Write your congressman and get your college or university president involved with the discussion. The more people actively involved in this, there is a chance that it can change someday. As you've learned throughout this speech, the current minimum drinking age in the United States is very different from other parts of the world, and ironically, we still have some of the highest rates of issues associated with young adults and alcohol. We need to learn from others and come to the realization that we might be wrong on this one. Thank you for watching, and I hope you agree with me on this issue.